then when it's us, then we want the grace. We want grace. Grace. Could you please understand that you've known me for all this time? That clearly that those things are not wrong.
It's just easier to see the world that way. It's easier to see the world in black and white. Now, fortunately, we have the ability, or you are in a position where you can hear some of these people and sometimes their worst moments.
Yeah.
And what they're so used to having done to them is being judged.
Keep in mind, our clients that are in jail that just did something awful, violent or something self-harmful, or I do a lot of other domestic stuff too. So you're like, the family's falling apart, the mother, the father, the kid is at odds.
Which has its own level of tension because the person on the other side hates me more than any judge or prosecutor could in a criminal case. That's my ex, and she hates me. She thinks I'm the devil.
Yeah. And so when we have these circumstances, then they're stuck in this feeling of fear of abandonment and exile. And so there's something about we are a mortal social being. So the abandonment and the exile itself is almost like a wound that makes it feel like we're up against a grizzly bear because now we've got nothing and we're getting ready to be abandoned, exiled. And we also have the history of our upbringing and also the history of our lives, which I think everyone has one where they say, shame on you, you're a bad boy, it's your fault, Vaune. Go over there and don't you come back until you're remorseful, right? And then you veritably open your wrist saying, I'm sorry, I just want to come back. I'm sorry, whatever I did. Okay, good boy. You can join the group. And really what we're showing is abandoned self, you can have the group. The problem is that the blame, shame, and the judgment, the exile, and the abandonment, all of those things then mean that even if you abandon self, the group was always going to be fickle and you're not going to have the ability.
It's the only way you get to come back to society. It's the only way we let you back in the village. Otherwise, you go out in the wilderness and starve to death.
Right, and it just depends on how long through your life and how many of those experiences you have before you now have that belief. It's like, okay, wait a minute. Now I've abandoned self, and I'm for the purpose of being accepted by the group, but the group is not going to give me grace and understanding. The group is going to be fickle and is always going to see the worst in what I did and is never going to ask any other things.
And sometimes we are guilty of imparting that opinion on the group without knowing whether they will or won't. Maybe they will, but you don't know. This is fascinating, and this is why this approach to the law is different. And it's why it's so huge and it's so novel. Look, we could probably do another 5 hours of podcast on what I'm about to say next, but this is what keeps us from being AI proof. Because if you just put people into these groups, good or bad, you just judge them on the exact number of prior convictions that they have or prior interactions that they've had in a domestic scenario.